Welcome to my channel, and what I'm making this video about today, what I've really wanted to talk about, is how I stay strong on a raw vegan diet and how I keep focused on this lifestyle after over 5 years, and I've not had any dairy, any cooked food, and anything of that nature in over 5 years. Well, I can't say that I've never had absolutely anything cooked. There are times where I did have like quinoa in my salad or something, especially like way back in the beginning. But other than maybe an occasional sweet potato and that, I've never eaten any cooked food. So how do I stay on this, and how do I keep my focus all the time through all of the hard things that I've been through? And this is the subjects that I want to touch on a few things, because I think that it's so important to understand different aspects of your life that you are going to deal with on this raw vegan journey. The different people that you have in the everyday world. We have an everyday world of so many struggles these days. There's so much going on. It's not even funny. And of course, that would be a whole other video if we got into all of that, which I'm not going to get into all of that. But I think that you all know what I'm talking about. Our society is really got a lot going on. But as far as starting off with like family, and people ask me this a lot, and they say, well, you know, you're so strong about this. What does your husband do? And, you know, your family life, do your kids do this, blah, blah, blah. Nobody is raw vegan that is around me. My husband is not raw vegan. He tried it a little while, 5 years ago, or over 5 years ago, and it didn't work out for him. You know, that's a personal, it's kind of a personal choice. This lifestyle is basically, it's not always for everybody, and I understand that. I try to be as open-minded as I can to other people, and there are people who tell me all the time, well, Laura, I need a lot more protein. I need meat. I have to have meat. And, you know, I say, well, if you have to have it, you have to have it. I don't really try to, unless people are interested in this lifestyle, and if they are, and they want to do this, what I try to tell people and how I try to approach this is that this lifestyle can work for anybody if they are totally into the lifestyle. If they believe, if you do not believe in this, and this is not something that you really, truly in your heart, soul, and spirit want to believe, this is not going to work for you. I believe it can work for anybody if they are strong about it. And I'm very strong about it, and it's worked for me because I've kind of stuck it out through certain things that I've went through. I went through changes in my body where I didn't think my stomach was handling it well in the beginning. You know, I've had lots of people tell me about hormonal issues that they have with certain sprouts, certain things that are coming out of their body, rashes, all kinds of stuff. And, you know, I always try to encourage people to please get involved in some juice fasting and really clean out the GI tract and all of the mucoid plaque and the buildup and all the stuff that biofilms from cooked foods and bad foods and all the things that you've eaten, because this is what can really change the whole microbiome. And if you don't do that, there could still be issues. And I had some issues in the beginning before I actually started to see differences when I started doing certain fasts and stuff. And I had a lot of allergies and different things. And I had a lot of hormonal disruption and things of that nature. So, So yeah, no, my husband's not raw vegan, and I cook for him different food than what I eat. So how do I handle doing that? I just do it. You know, I don't have to relate my relationship through food. Um, that is a separate thing. And there's a lot of things that are very separate in my life from what other people are doing. And I'm just strong in what I'm doing. And what I believe in very highly is to keep researching. If you want to be on a raw vegan diet and you're having troubles, to keep researching and find people that inspire you. I had to have people that inspired me. In the very beginning, when I got on raw foods, the very first person that I ever ran into in the Raw Food Network was Marcus Rothkranz. And I read some of his books, and I listened to him quite a bit. And then as I ventured on, I listened to other people, and I got involved more and more into the community until I decided that I enjoyed this so much that I wanted to be somebody who would try to inspire people, because that's how into it I've gotten in the last years and things. But you have to have somebody that gives you that inspire and helps you to get some of the answers. You have to seek in order to find things. You have to seek. So yeah, so as far as the family situation goes, and I don't have any raw vegan family. My kids are not raw vegan. I'm also very into like exercise, and I exercise an hour and a half per day. I am really serious about that. I'm driven about it. I've got to fit it into my schedule. How do I fit all this into my schedule is not always easy, but I do it because I'm driven. And I'm strong about it. The same way I'm strong about my raw vegan diet, I'm strong about exercise. I have one daughter who exercises like I do, but she doesn't eat anything like I do. It's totally different. She tries different things, and I have made her some different raw vegan foods, and she kind of likes a lot of that, but she doesn't eat raw vegan. So that's family. As far as my faith goes, I am a Christian, and I'm not always, the best Christian in the world. I mean, I am a studying Christian. I have been saved like 5.5 years ago. Coincidentally enough, around the same time I was going through the raw vegan changes, which I did go raw vegan a little while before the 5.5 years, but then I went back to other foods, and then I went raw vegan. So I got introduced to raw vegan probably about maybe 6-7 years ago, and it's been kind of a journey. But as far as my faith goes, I have a Southern Baptist church that I attend, and the people that go to church there are definitely not raw vegan. As a matter of fact, they're probably at the worst diet of anybody I've ever seen in any church that I've ever went to or been in. Lots of sugar, lots of cakes and pies and things of that nature. And I'm not really that deeply into organized religion, so I'm not exactly always into all of the get-togethers that they have, but I do attend them sometimes, and they know that I eat salads. I don't bring, a lot of people that are around me know that I don't eat the standard food just from being around me for a while. And so that's a separate thing in my life. It is not the same thing as what I deal with in the raw vegan community. A lot of the people that I am around in the raw vegan community have different beliefs than I do. I've very seldom met anybody in the raw vegan community that believes what I believe. They have beliefs that I used to have, and I used to have a different way of looking at things, and I was not Christian. I was more of a New Age person, and I try to keep that separate from my raw vegan lifestyle, because there's a lot of controversy in the world today with a lot of different things. There's a lot of dividedness in foods, faith, in workplaces, and just there's a lot going on. And we've just went through an epidemic. There's been changes that have happened in my life there, and I'm going to touch a little bit on that in a minute. But I try not to be judgmental of anybody, but I am strong in what I believe, because of what I went through. And I'm involved in some different things in that aspect, in my belief aspect, like a New Age recovery. I do have some different groups and places that I deal with people that are involved in that. And there's a lady called Doreen Virtue, and she used to be she's a reformed psychic, and she's very interesting to watch because she has a lot of knowledge on that, and because of her lifestyle before and after. And so I have a whole different other issue and that I deal with, which is that I am a raw vegan Christian, and that is not really very common. So it's different. And how do I deal with that? How do I stay raw vegan, having these different beliefs than what a lot of other people believe? Is that I have support communities that I deal with on all different ends, and I don't confuse one with the other. When I deal with food, I deal with food. When I deal with faith, I deal with faith. I believe in support groups, and I believe in just believing very firmly in what you believe. And I've talked about this in other videos before, that before food, God is first, food is second. Food is not God to me, and I do not believe in the creation. I believe in the creator. And so that's my faith. And I do have friends in different places, Instagram, YouTube, different little places where you meet people, and I talk about different ideas. They have different thoughts, I have different thoughts. We talk about them sometimes, and that's a whole separate thing in my life. That's a different part of my life. But all of these little things is what makes my life what it is, and what I focus on, and what I try to stay focused on. My beliefs in my raw vegan diet is what they are. I'm very strong in them. And if you are strong in what you believe, you will stick to it, and you will grow with it. You can grow in your faith, you can grow in your food, you can grow in a lot of different ways. You can have growth besides just one way. But I do think that if I didn't have the different communities that I have, and sometimes I have to take a break from one thing and be a little bit more into another, because of the fact that there's so much out there that it could be overwhelming sometimes. And I do agree with that. But I think that if you are strong in what you believe in anything, that you will succeed at it. And if you seek, you shall find. In anything, you will find the answers if you have a strong enough strive to want to, that you will succeed. So relationships, I have relationships at work. I have people at work that they don't eat the way I do. I'm only there where I work outside of the house 3 days a week. I'm a hairdresser, and I have to go to work 3 days a week, and I work an 8-hour day, and I have to be really serious about packing my food, and it takes me quite a bit to get everything organized, where I come in with a big bag and everybody looks at me. In the beginning, they looked at me like, where are you going with all this stuff? Because a lot of them don't eat at work, or they just order something, or they put things in the microwave, they order pizzas. And I do all my eating before a certain time of night. When I come home at night and it's 7 o'clock, I'm not starting supper. And if you've done enough in the raw vegan community, and you know about eating late at night and how bad it is for you, you'll know that there's no time after you get home from work to start trying to put together food. So I have my strategies as to how I plan my food. I have lots of different things that I have to do. And how do I juggle all these things and have all these different relationships with different people and different beliefs every day, is that I just do it one day at a time. And I'm strong with what I believe. I'm going to succeed on this lifestyle because I believe in it. Because I was very sick. Physically, I felt horrible before I went on this food and this lifestyle and started eating raw and cleaned my body out. I struggled with so much mental fog and so much just different things that I had to deal with allergies, with infections, things that I don't have anymore. And I know darn well it's the raw vegan diet. I know it is, because I never got it straightened out before, no matter what I tried. And I was pretty healthy. I mean, I tried to eat pretty healthy. I didn't eat what other people ate. I didn't even eat pizza out, even back then. Before people ordered pizza, I wouldn't eat it then either. I wasn't a standard eater. I was more of a Mediterranean pescatarian, and never felt healthy like I feel now. I ate meat years ago. I ate a lot of meat. I used to feel terrible when I ate meat. I ate it when I was younger, though. I got off of meat back in my early 20s. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that it can be very tricky to try to get through all these things, and to have all these different relationships, and to have your priorities in order, and to make sure that you try to stay strong on your beliefs in this lifestyle. And I know for some people it could be really harder than others, depending on what they have going on in their life. But I had a lot of different things happen to me during the cycle of my 5 years. And when I was 1 year into this lifestyle and feeling pretty good at the moment, of where I was in a major car wreck. And I mean, this wasn't just a fender bender, and it wasn't just, going over the guardrails wreck. This was a wreck where I was hit head on and had a brain bleed, and was in the hospital with a bleeding brain, and I had a busted L2 vertebrae. They put me in a crab shell. I was breathing through this thing because I had busted ribs and stuff, and I was in extreme pain, and my head hurt, and it was awful. And how did I stay raw through all that? How did I manage to do that? Was the fact that I had enough, my brain was still pretty good. I could think and things, and I was not going to take all the medicine that they were giving me. I had refused the medicine. The doctors argued with me. I was in excruciating pain, but I wouldn't take it. And I wouldn't eat the food. I told them, bring me bananas. And I didn't care if the fruit wasn't organic. I just ate fruit that wasn't organic, because I wasn't going to eat cooked food and a bunch of hospital food. And I wasn't going to take the medication, because that's how strong I was about not wanting to fail at this. I'd worked really hard. And I don't mean, when I say work hard, I mean, you know, going through these detoxes and these changing your body, it is kind of hard work. I mean, it's not horrible slavery kind of work, but it, you know, it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot of real, you have to have the drive. You have to have, I'm not going to say that it takes, you know, people are always saying to me all the time that I'm so strong willpower. It's not really willpower. It's actually a drive, and it's something that you have to want to do it. You have to believe in it. It's not really willpower. There's a difference between that and willpower. But I got through it, and I started exercising like 3 weeks after, plus my husband had some problems and I had to deal with that. But I started exercising 3 weeks after I got out of the hospital, and I went to my physical therapy. Consecutively, I did the things that I was supposed to do. I stayed raw. I didn't care if I just ate, you know, just plain spinach or something, because I was not going to eat cooked food. That's how serious I was about it. And if there was ever a time that I should have caved in on a raw food diet, that would have definitely been the time, because it would have been very easy to say, this is a time I need to be in bed. I was in recovery. I was in bed. I had a hard time even getting up. That I should, you know, have some cooked food for comfort and take the medication and just sleep, and then I'll get back on the raw food diet later. No, I was not going to do that. Not after a year and me knowing what I felt and how strong I felt about it. And so, you know, I made it through all that and stayed raw. And then a couple of years after that happened, the COVID came, the epidemic came in, and I'm running a business. I'm a hairdresser, and I had my own business, and I was working by myself. I didn't have anybody working with me. I had people working with me on and off through the years, but at this time, I didn't have anybody working for me for a couple years. I worked by myself. I had a pretty good clientele, people that knew me in town for a long time. I was the only walk-in service. I had a very good business at one time, and my business was going downhill. And I eventually, it really dried up, and I had to close down. And it was really, really hard. You know, would have been an excellent time to just throw in the towel with the raw vegan diet. You know, I went through some emotions. I had to figure out what I was going to do with everything, and where I was going to work. I still had to make an income, and it was hard. But I managed to get through it and stayed raw vegan. Ate raw food every day the same way, and I finally started to realize that I'm so driven by this lifestyle that I need to start to have a channel. So I started to open up a channel. This has been a couple years ago now. And if it weren't for the epidemic, I probably wouldn't have done that, because I wouldn't have had time running a business to do that. But this is how driven that I have been. And it has really been a long road for me with a lot of different things. But the way that I stay focused is I try new things all the time. I post things all the time. I know there's a lot of people out there that can give a less what I'm doing, and I'm still going to keep doing it as long as there's just a few people that keep giving me cheers, and I'll just keep on going, because I enjoy this that much. And my lifestyle on this whole journey has grown in all different aspects in my life. And you know, if I feel like things get a little dull, or I get a little bit like, what do I do next? I'm bored or something, I start sprouting something different. I come up with these different ideas, these different recipes. I love recipes. That's my favorite thing to do, I do a lot of kitchen stuff, and I post a lot of things on Instagram, Facebook, and I enjoy it immensely because it's what keeps my drive going. And so my suggestion to people who want to be a part of anything that they like to do and they want to keep doing it, if there's any obstacles in their way, is to just conquer things and be driven by it. Keep going for your dreams. Just stay positive. And we're in a world right now where, like I said earlier, there's going to be people trying to stir you in different directions with all different kinds of things. And if you listen to everything you hear, you're going to be in mass confusion. Believe in your beliefs. Stay strong in your beliefs, and you will learn and you will succeed. So, I guess that's all that I really have to say about all of this. And I hope and I always hope that things that I say don't offend anybody, because I believe in different things and I don't ever have anything against anybody that does things different. Everybody's journey in life is different. And I've actually considered to eventually have another channel talking about my faith, only because I try not to really confuse the two things. But one thing that I promised myself when I got saved was that I would never leave the Lord out of anything. So that's why I always say a prayer at the end of every video that I do, and if I don't say it, I post it. So I'm going to read this, and this is out of Joshua, and it's chapter 1, verse 9, and it says, I have not commanded you, be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid, nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. So thank you so much. Hope you like this video, and have a wonderful, blessed day.